October, and recently on Saturday.
Yeah, there's a good list.
Huh? Trustworthy.
Okay, we're live. How about the time for 186? No.
When you film, is it not white? The old days is on.
186?
186.
186.
We're gonna do a 186 in our material existence and go back to Godhead.
That's right.
Yes.
Can you lower the mic so that this goes through?
Oh, did you know? I learned technical fun fact. This is not the way to test a mic. It's actually really bad for mics.
Yeah.
That's like testing pearls by biting them like Hanuman. It's not how it's supposed to be done. You're
Okay.
supposed to go Krishna or that's how you're supposed to test mic, not
I'm not being it.
Like the professionals.
It's basically like every time you want to test something, you try to damage it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what it does to mics. It's really bad for them. And dropping mics is like, it just means that you're an idiot. You shouldn't be holding a mic. But no, actually, that was not communication. What's the song? Oh.
Tudoya Sagar. Tudoya Sagar. Sarayite Prani.
Tudoya Sagar. Sarayite Prani.
Namani Katsuva. Shikariya
Yeah, so what does
Cute,
that
isn't it?
mean? Intimacy?
Isn't it? Well, it's my turn. So what are we singing now? Oh.
See what time is it? Krishna and Radha.
Oh, okay. You wanted one. Oh, so let's do a Krishna and Radha song. That should be fun.
Okay. Besides, I couldn't find the Navadvip Mahatma. I found on the table the Navadvip.
It was on the table.
We have one here? I looked
That
for
was like a Radha and Krishna section. Can we sing Radha Krishna Pranamar? Because it has gore in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can sing that one.
No, because it's, we don't have time.
Oh.
For sure tomorrow for his day.
Here's the tune.
Oh, we get to sing Sati tomorrow?
Lots of, yeah, and lots of gore songs. All the gore songs in the whole book.
Okay.
Sorry, I got
Better not show up at 10:30.
Yeah, I think it says 9.
Wait, no, it's an evening well, we're gonna have both.
Let's go.
Yeah.
9:30 is it advertised?
Advertise for 9:30.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Morning's advertised 9:30.
Okay.
Evening's advertised I think 4:30. Obviously it's at 7:30. Then we'll grab them probably tomorrow.
Radha Krishna Pranamara Jugala Kishora Radha Krishna Pranamara Jugala Kishora Jivane Marane Gati Anaim Kalindira Kulekini Parambirabana Ratana Devi Rayuka Basabadujana Sangori Ange Divochua Chandanera Gandha Chamara Dulaba Kode Heba Mukha Chanda Jatiya Malati Mara Devadvagale Ajay Julia Diva Papu Tambure Divo Laika Bisakhayadi Jata Sakhi Vrinda Aja Kori Vaseva Charanarinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranudasa
Coca-Cola. Not the brother, it's the family. And one cousin was, he didn't like it. Well, I could chant Coca-Cola. I said, no, you will stop.
What if it was called Krishna Cola, then Krishna's name? And if it was called Hari Cola, then Cola Sweet.
Cola Sweet.
That's getting somewhere.
All cut up.
Kol means Mridanga. And Mridanga is an incarnation of Balaram. Oh, why didn't we debate that? We didn't debate it.
Rama.
No, it's another guy. Oh, we did.
Hi, Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome.
Welcome to Navadvip.
Welcome to Navadvip.
Well, you don't need too much.
That's true. Together, me? Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namah Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Apekritam Dvaipayana Virakataya Putrikitam Mayataya Tadavom Hridus Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Manimanatosmi Bhaktyarina Radharashri Childasya Kamadikam Namade Kripayam Saranam Prabhavam Vrinde Namaste Charanaya Vindam Tavaivasmi Na Jivani Tambina Iti Vidyayade Tam Namam Sharantike. First I offer my unlimited obeisances and the dust to the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Sriman, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances and the dust to the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and also to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and to our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and all of his divine associates, and all the mass of assembled devotees here today. Thank you, all of you hundreds, for coming. So, today...
100? That's a really small Navadip Parikrama.
It is small. Millions. Millions are here in Tamil today in various shapes and forms and species. So, today is our 4th or 5th? 6th. 5th day of Navadvip Dham Parikrama. So far, everything has been going successful. No accidents, no health problems, no complaints.
Madhukar broke his toe though.
Madhukar, yes, Madhukar did. Here we are at Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Navadvip, Koladvip, and we are circumambulating Srila Gurudev's Samadhi Mandir, offering our incense and flowers to him, offering our hearts to him, taking his permission to begin our parikrama today. And now we are on our way to Mojumadweep. First, and on the way to Mojumadweep, we're going to Janadweep. We don't need to cross the river, same side of the river.
Always rains on this day. Raining.
So it does sometimes rain on this day, but today it's bright and clear. So it's a long walk. It's a long walk. And here we go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here we are at Janudweep. We're so fortunate. Janudweep is the island named after Janu Maharaj.
Rishi.
Janu Rishi. He's a very, very powerful sage. And we'll find out the power that he obtained by the chanting of the holy name. This place is also known as Bhishmatila, and we'll find out why. Here we are in beautiful Janudweep. We've just walked a wide, dusty road made of the dust of Navadvip, which is composed of brilliant Chintamani stones and the ras of Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. And basically now, these days, this place is a tree. You walk, and then you come to this big tree. And that is the sign that we have this tree, and behind the tree there's a big, beautiful forest. So, let's sit down at the tree after offering our obeisances, embracing the tree, putting our head to the tree, taking the dust at the feet of the tree, not an ordinary tree. And we will hear from Srila Gurudev about Janudweep and why it's called that, and why the Ganga is called Jahanavi. It's Jahanu, Jahanavi. Janudweep extends throughout the present Janagara and is non-different from Bajravan in Braj. Previously, I think I'll try this, see how that works. Previously,
Can I push the table closer?
yeah, that would be great.
What
This is great.
if we got next microphone?
Previously,
Like on TV.
the river Jahnavi, Ganga, flowed nearby. Hmm?
Did that thing help? Like if we put that there?
Let's see. No.
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 Sriman Mahaprabhu used to pass through here, so we have the dust of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu here, where we're sitting. That's why we've taken it on our heads. While he was performing Sankirtan with his associates. So it is a place of Mahaprabhu's Kirtan and other pastimes. Janagara, the local name for Janudvip, is Janu Muni's place of worship. He's so pleased, Sri Gaurahari, with his worship, that the Lord appeared right here on this spot before him. Golden and effulgent. Janu Muni became immersed in infinite spiritual joy, realizing that all material, the whole world of matter, is just a dream or an illusion. And he requested Mahaprabhu to be able to reside in Navadvip, birth after birth. Sriman Mahaprabhu blessed him, saying, "When in the future my pastimes manifest, you will be able to witness them." Janu Muni performed his worship in this small forest in Navadvip. And one day, while he was meditating upon the Lord's pastimes, he entered samadhi, trance. Elsewhere, King Bhagirath, having pleased Brahma and Shiva, was bringing the Ganga from Gangotri to the great ocean via Hardwar, Prayag, Kashi, and other places, with the purpose of delivering his 60,000 ancestors. Just very briefly, they were offering a horse. They were having a horse sacrifice, and then the horse was stolen. So they looked for the horse, and they found the horse in the ashram of Lord Kapiladev, who's actually an incarnation of Krishna. And then they thought that he had stolen the horse, and they began to accuse him. So not by the glaring eyes of Kapila, but by their own offense, a fire sprang up from their insides out, and they all burned to ashes. So Sagara Maharaj, the king, he wanted to bring the Ganges there so that they could be delivered by having the Ganges water flow over them. And so he did austerities, tried his son. Everyone died before succeeding. And finally Bhagirath, King Bhagirath, he succeeded. So the Ganges said, okay, I'll come, but I'll come down to earth from the heavens, but how am I going to get there? Because the force of my water is so great, it'll just go right through the earth and I'll come out the other side. So he prayed to Lord Shiva and performed austerities, and Lord Shiva agreed to catch her on his hair, and that's why he has a little lady coming out of his hair with some water coming out of her mouth. So then the Ganges carried on the head of Lord Shiva. We can't conceive, because on one hand she's on the head of Lord Shiva, but then you don't see that. So then she came to earth from her source of Gangotri. It also is explained in other pastimes of the Bhagavatam that when Lord Vaman put his foot through the universe and went into the causal ocean, the causal ocean came down as Ganga. It's also explained that when Lord Brahma in the heavens washed Raman Dev's feet. The water came down this Ganga. So many histories. So she was coming and coming, and he could hear her gurgling sound. And now they're coming through Navadvip. So let's see what happens. Maharaj Bhagirath's chariot raced ahead of Bhagavati Ganga, who made rippling boop, boop, boop sounds as she flowed along. When he came to Janamuni's ashram or passed by, Bhagirath paid obeisances to the sage and then continued with the Surasari Ganga flowing closely behind him. The Ganga's dancing waves revealed her extreme delight now to be in her Lord's area. Because remember, we heard yesterday or the day before, on the day of Ganga Sagara, that the Ganges River, she saw that Krishna had played in the Jamuna, and she also wanted to be the place of pastimes of the Lord. So she prayed and performed austerities, and Lord Gaur appeared to her and said, I will play in your waters. So at Ganga Sagara in Navadvip, that's when the ocean came into the Ganges. But the Ganges prayed and performed austerities, and so Mahaprabhu said, I will play in your water when I'm doing my Navadvip pastimes. So now she's in Navadvip flowing, and she wanted to take her time because she didn't want to, she rushed through all the other lands, but she didn't want to rush through Navadvip. So she's going here and there, meandering over Navadvip to get the mercy of the Dham. And she was not conscious of her body because she was in so much ecstasy that as she passed by Jana Maharaj's hut, she swept away a part of the hut, as well as his water pot and some other belongings. So the Ganga's rippling sound and the sprinkles, like if a river, just imagine a river is passing by your house and gurgling things, and then some water will splash onto your face. And the cool breeze of the flowing river broke the sage's meditation. First he was angry, but in a moment he realized that this stream of water was not ordinary. In fact, it had come from the causal ocean, and Lord Brahma had used it to wash Sri Ramandev's feet. That same water was now pouring through his ashram. The very pure water of, you've heard of Patit Pavan, right? Deliverer of the fallen. So she's Patit Pavani, the lady deliverer of the fallen. Bhagavati Ganga, who is rarely attained even by the demigods. With great faith, Janamuni bowed his head, promptly scooped up the Ganges water into his hollowed palm, the whole thing, the whole river, and drank it. This left the Ganga, who was flowing from above, unable to proceed. Bhagirath was most perturbed, but somehow he pleased the sage, who, because she's already in his body, so now he scratched his thigh, made a little bit of an opening in his thigh. He didn't have an ordinary material body, and she came out and continued. Then with a rippling sound, she emerged and encircled the entire area of Navadvip before continuing on. And it was because she was meandering through Navadvip that the islands are divided in that way. She's the one who made Navadvip into 9 parts. Ultimately, the Ganges is also a Saki who was talking to Krishna, loving words, and Radharani came into the Kunja. And then the Ganges, this Saki, became embarrassed and turned into water. She said, oh, there's another Saki here. And Krishna said, no, I have no Saki but you. And because she had now become water, and so she started from Goloka Vrindavan too. Since then it has been called Navadvip, or 9 islands. Because she had entered the sage's stomach and manifested again from his thigh, Sri Ganga became known as Jahnavi. That is Jahnavi Muni's dear daughter. And this place became known as Janudvip. So here is the Ganges flowing by. So let us do Achman, taking the water and the cup of our hands and putting the water on our heads, eyelids, tongue, and heart. And then let's just go take bath. Here we are taking bath in the Ganges. Now let's come out, dry up, and here we are on our way. But before going, we're on our way to Godrum Dweep. It's not too far away. There was Gurudev discusses a happening that took place in Emperor Akbar's court in Agra. So the question arose, which of the two rivers, Ganges or Jamuna, is superior? So the kings, feudal princes, and royal scholars who resided on the banks of the Ganges, it was a big meeting. They stated that she was superior. The controversy could not be resolved at that time. So Jiva Goswami, who was performing bhajan in Vrindavan, who had accepted the vow of Kshetra Sannyas, that means never to leave a particular Kshetra or holy place, he was called to come. And he said that, I can't leave because I've taken this vow. But because he was the most celebrated personality in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, still the king begged him to come. So the king kept insisting, and finally Jiva Goswami agreed on the condition that he can come back the same day. So the emperor made all traveling arrangements, and he was there at the royal court. So after hearing the arguments of both sides, Jiva Goswami gave his conclusion, and this is what he said. According to the scriptures, Sri Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Sri Vamandev is a part of the Lord, and Ganga is the water that washed the feet of Vamandev. On the other hand, the Jamuna, or Kalindi, is one of Krishna's queens, and she's non-different from him. So now you can decide which is supreme. The benefit one gets by taking bath in the Ganges is attained simply by thinking about the Jamuna. By bathing in the Ganges, sins are removed. But by bathing in the Jamuna, one will attain Krishna Prem, Braj Prem. So Krishna enjoys and also his cow string from that. but, he continued, so you'd expect it to end there. Then he said, but a special consideration is to be made in this connection. Sri Ganga joins with the Jamuna in Prayag, and together they proceed to Sri Navadvip Dham. You see, a great astronomer, he can look at the stars and see what's happening. But Mahaprabhu, he makes the stars. So he made everything work in relation to Navadvip. The Ganga flows on the eastern side in Navadvip, and the Jamuna flows on the western side. So Mahaprabhu performed his various pastimes in the combination of these two rivers. So here in Navadvip, the Ganga is also has the capacity to award Gaur Prem. So we're so fortunate that we were just able to bathe and do Achman in the Ganga. Everybody in the assembly there appreciated Jiva Goswami's conclusions. Now, right here in the same place is Bhishma Tila. What is the relationship between Bhishma and Janamuni? Actually, it's not exactly here, but it's right near here. Bhishma came here to meet his maternal father. How is Janamuni his maternal father? And he stayed here with him for some time. Anybody say? How is Janu? Who's Bhishma's mother?
Ganga.
The Ganga. And who's Ganga's father? Who's she the daughter of? Huh? Janamuni.
Yeah.
In a way. Daily, Bhishma heard narrations about the Lord and received various instructions from Janamuni about Sri Gauranga Dev and his appearance in Sri Navadvip. He explained that after some time, at the beginning of Kali Yuga, Sri Krishna would appear as Sri Gauranga and give Krishna Nam and Krishna Prem to both the qualified and, fortunately, to the unqualified too. All over the world. He would even drive the trees, creepers, and birds and animals mad with Krishna Prem. Gurudev said, though, that the trees and animals who received Prem, they received a general Prem, and they would have to have more association before their Prem became specific. Except that in Navadvip itself, in the Holy Dham, the trees are not ordinary, just like we see from our visit to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's Bhajan Kutir and Samadhi yesterday?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, that he would not take prasadam unless the puppies of the Dham took from his plate first. So he further educated Bhishma Dev in politics, laws of religion, laws of society, and the subtle rules of Dharma. And he imparted knowledge about the soul and matter. What is Atma and what is Anatma? This body is not ourselves. It's just pus, blood, stool, and urine. And it's only because the soul is inside that it appears to have life. Like I have this glove. I just have it so we could do this example. Because my hand is moving and is alive, my glove seems to be alive too, but it's really not. Because as soon as it's separated from my hand, plop, it's nothing. So Janamuni was giving this argument about the anatma, or the non-real thing that we call ourselves. Matter and consciousness. Consciousness is Chaitan, alive, and this. Is there any difference between this and this? No, except there's no pus and blood here, and there is here. Otherwise, it's both dead matter. He also told him about the reality of devotional service, bhakti tattva, and so on. The jiva is an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, but because he's opposed to this service, he has fallen into the cycle of repeated birth and death and concomitant miseries, taking 3 shapes. The body gives us misery, the mind gives us misery, other living beings give us misery, either human beings give us misery or mosquitoes give us misery. And what else? Body, mind, other living entities, and nature. It's too hot, it's too cold. So, by the mercy of Guru, the jiva can hear narrations about the Supreme Lord, as we are doing now, by Gurudev's mercy, chant his holy name in the association of Vaishnavas. That's why we always call for our gurus to come and be with us. My godbrother, what's his name? Upendra, he told me once that before he had joined Krishna consciousness, he had committed some kind of crime. So after he joined, that's when they sentenced him to go to jail. Hare Krishna. That's when they sentenced him to go to jail. So he went to Prabhupada and he said, so now I have to go to jail, and for my auspiciousness, I want to chant 1 round with you, if it's all right with you. And Prabhupada said, I am always chanting with you. In this way, one can attain his swarup, or original constitutional form. This is the essential teaching of all religions. When, at the time of passing away, Grandfather Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows, he imparted the instructions that he had heard. You know how we hear in the, where is that? The first canto, 9th chapter of Bhagavatam, we hear how he imparted instructions to the Pandavas while he was lying on the bed of arrows. Where did he get those from? Janamuni. So therefore, this place right near Jannagara is called Bhishmatila. And something slipped. I really wanted to say, but that's how it goes. Oh yes, I remember. When we were sitting with our Prabhupada, 1971-ish, in New York City, and we were working on the paintings for first canto Bhagavatam, Prabhupada told me to do a painting that was not there in the first canto, but he wanted it added. And there, Bhishma Dev, he said, is lying on the bed of arrows. The arrows aren't going through him, they're just in his back and under his head. And then he asked for some water. So Duryodhana brought him some water. He said, no, I don't want that water. And then Arjuna, he knew what kind of water he wanted. So he shot an arrow into the earth, and his mother, the Ganges, came up from the earth and went into his mouth. He also wanted a pillow. And he wouldn't accept any pillow except from Arjuna, which is arrows underneath his head as a pillow. These people are transcendental. Okay. So Shri Janu Dvipa ki Jai, Janamuni ki Jai, Bhishmadeva ki Jai, Bhishmatila ki Jai. Now we are on our way. Keep walking on the same wide path, leaving the tree, offering our obeisances, and on our way to Modaduma Dweep. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We're done now. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Guru Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Premanandi. Now, to our great fortune, we have arrived in the Ayodhya, which is present in its fullness. More so than it's present in Ayodhya, it's present in its fullness, just like all other holy dhams are present in Navadvip. Have you been to Navadvip yet? You have. Yeah, you've been to Navadvip? Gandhicha? Oh, okay. So here we are in Modadrumadvip, and now we are going to hear from, after rolling in the dust, let's all roll in the dust. Take the dust on our head, eyelids, heart, and tongue. If you want to know where you are, here we are. So there's this very nice temple, and it's outside this temple to our left, where there's a big stage, and Gurudev used to speak about Jana Maharaj and Ramchandra, mainly about Ramchandra. And now let's go into the temple.
First is,
I'm sorry?
first we stop in, what's his name?
Oh, Murari Gupta. No.
Rari.
Murari Chaitanya. Murari
No.
Sharanga.
Yeah.
Sharanga Murari.
Rari.
Yes. So first we're stopping there. So let's stop there. Vasanti is our panda. I accidentally walked ahead of our panda. But here, let's go back to Sri Sarangadev Murari's residence.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a really beautiful place. It has a little thing around a tree, and yeah. And here are the deities in this little temple there. Let's offer our obeisances to the deities. The deities are, this is actually his house. Radha, Madana Gopal, right here, the deities. And they are Vasudev Dutt's deities, a dear associate of Mahaprabhu. They're in the center, large. That is Radha, Madan, Gopal. And then, in front of them, is Radha Gopinath, the small, so-called small deities. They're actually unlimited. And then Gaurnitai, and small Radha Krishna, and small Jagannath. And let's hear about his glory. Sri Sarangadev, an associate of Sri Gaur, resided here in Mamagachi or Modadrumadvip. Once, as Sri Gaur Sundar was returning home with Srivas and Sri Sarangadev, after having reprimanded Devananda Pandit for his offense to Srivas Thakur, he turned to Sarangadev and asked, Sarangadev, why don't you accept disciples? Because you're older now, and you have to take care of your deities, and you're so busy with Sankirtan, all your work in your ashram. You need some help to serve the deities, like a pujari. So Sarangadev replied, I cannot find a qualified disciple, therefore I accept no one. So then Mahaprabhu assured him, well, whoever you accept as a disciple, he will definitely become qualified. So then Saranga said, and being instructed by Mahaprabhu, he took a vow. Okay, I will accept as a disciple the first person that I meet tomorrow. He then paid his obeisances to the Lord and returned to his ashram. The next morning, and here we are, this is where we've been for the last few minutes, at this tree, right outside Sarangadev's house. We're all embracing this tree and putting the dust of the tree on us. The next morning, he got up and went to take his bath in what? Who? The Ganga. There, he saw the dead body of a boy floating in the water. Remembering Mahaprabhu's order, he brought that dead boy to the riverbank and recited the Diksha mantras to him into his ear. We would have gone, yuck.
I was also dead when I got initiated.
Yeah, we all were kind of dead when we got initiated. Astonishingly, when the mantra entered the boy's ear, he returned to life. Paying his prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Sharangadev, he said, "Yesterday, on the occasion of my sacred thread ceremony, when I was going to get initiated, I was bitten by a poisonous black snake. And then I don't know what happened after that. So then, when the boy's parents, relatives, and friends heard that he was alive again, they immediately came to the place of Sharangadev and naturally what? Naturally wanted him back. So what happened? He said, "No, I'll never leave, because since the body of a person who had died of a snake bite cannot be burned," they said to him, "we placed you in the river, Ganges, and by the mercy of Sarangadev you have returned to life." But he wouldn't go back with them, because he got a new birth with a new father, spiritual father. Therefore, because of his devotion, Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai ho. Because of his devotion and service, he became known as Saranga Murari, the Murari of Sarangadev. And he later on became known as Sri Murari Thakur. He vowed to spend his entire life in the service of his Gurudev. So there was a huge bakula tree there, and even now, this same ancient tree, which is completely hollow inside from age, stands as witness to this event. And now we're moving forward. Shri Sarangadev ki jai, Shri Murari Thakur ki jai. Now we're going back. We've already offered our obeisances here at Modadrumadweep, and we have seen the deities of Gauranitai and also Vrindavan Das Thakur, his house. That's that temple that you just saw. That's his house. So here, Srila Gurudev always relates the pastime of when Mahaprabhu was in Dandakaranya, which is also here. Let's see what Nityananda. Here we are. We are with Nityananda Prabhu. Of course, we couldn't get all this from Nityananda Prabhu because that came after him. Though we did get it from the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And I lost my place. That's what happened. So, but as far as the pastime that took place here with Lord Ram, that we can hear from Nityananda Prabhu as we're sitting at his lotus feet with Sri Jiva Goswami. Let's offer him our obeisances. O Prabhu, you are not a book. You are Lord Nityananda yourself, Jiva Goswami yourself, Lord Ramchandra yourself, Modadrumadweep yourself, and we are sitting at your feet. So we pray that all of you please shower your mercy on us so that we can realize the Dham, the Navadvip Dham, be free from all doubts, and come out as Radhadasi.
I'm just curious, why can't they burn the bodies of the snake?
Yeah, it's the first time I heard it. So.
I heard it before, but I never could make any sense of it. I just wonder if anyone...
I cannot say. Maybe Hindupati can look it up on Google.
I tried Googling it.
You did.
I mean, I could probably, if you spend a few more
Many people
minutes...
die of snake bites, so they just look it up. We did see a dead body in the Ganges in
Mm-hmm.
Mayapur once, but it could have been an accident also.
Yeah, can't say.
I've never heard
I'm not even sure if they always adhere to that. That must be problematic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I'm sorry, so is that from the Modadrumadweep Katha?
That came from the Sarangadev Katha.
Which is Modadrumadweep?
Modadrumadweep, yes. So, all glories to Sri Gaurahari, who manifested as Panchatattva. All glories to the topmost holy place, Sri Navadvip Dham. When Nityananda and Jiva Goswami arrived in the village of Mamagachi, Nityananda Prabhu said, "This is Modadrumadweep. Ayodhya is present here." In the previous kalpa, when Lord Sri Ramchandra was in exile in the forest, he came to this place with Lakshman and Janaki. They built a cottage underneath a large banyan tree here and blissfully resided for many days. Just like Godruma, there was a banyan tree, so Modadruma, because of the tree. Seeing the beauty of Navadvip, Raghunandan Sri Ramchandra smiled gently. Aha! How mesmerizing, Nityananda Prabhu is saying. How mesmerizing was his dark form, resembling the color of newly sprouted durva grass. Sometimes Lord Ram is called Sham, so people sometimes paint him blue like Krishna, or think that he's blue. In the movies, he's always blue, the Indian movies. But really, Sham means dark, so he's dark green, whereas Krishna's dark blue.
Darva grass is ordinary grass, like on a lawn.
Oh,
Darva grass.
So
Crabgrass, we call it.
huh?
Or Bermuda grass, yeah.
Bermuda grass.
So Achyutananda Prabhu and Dinabandhu and Visanti are just conjointly informing us that Durva grass is not something very rare. It's the ordinary grass, like Bermuda grass that you find on anyone's lawn.
It's common around the world. This
It's
is actually a
common
point
around
of
the
Hindu
world.
pride that kind of corroborates the Vedic idea.
Grass it is.
It does actually quite corroborate the Vedic idea. Pretty far out.
His eyes were like lotuses, and in his hand was a beautiful bow. Matted locks adorned his head, and his brahmachari dress stole the hearts of all. Seeing Sri Ramchandra smiling, Sri Janaki asked what was making him smile. So he said, "Listen, O Sita, daughter of King Janak, I will now narrate to you a most confidential episode. When the blessed Kali Yuga comes, I will assume a golden form and appear here in Navadvip Dham. In the house of Jagannath Mishra, in the house of Jagannath Mishra, I will appear from Sachi Devi's womb in the form of Gauranga. I will bestow the highest divine love, praying, upon the fortunate persons who will behold my childhood pastimes. At that time, O beloved, I will perform pastimes of studying and teaching. And I will reveal the glories of the holy name. I will accept sannyas and go to Nilachala, Puri. My mother will take her daughter-in-law on her lap and weep. So hearing these words, what would Janaki Sita be expected to say? That's what she said. Oh, lotus-eyed one, why would you want to make your mother weep? And why would you leave your wife and take sannyas? What happiness will you get by causing her so much grief? So he replied, oh, beloved, you know everything. In order to instruct the living entities, where's the other? Thank you. In order to instruct the living entities, you're asking this question, as though you were ignorant, which you're not. In the incarnation of Ram, I, in separation from you, will have a golden Sita made, and I will worship you in the city of Ayodhya. You in turn will make a deity of me, Gauranga, and worship me in the city of Navadvip. O Sita, this matter is highly confidential and should not be disclosed in the presence of the people in general. This place named Navadvip is most dear to me. Ayodhya and other places can never be equal to it. Amazing, this place. All the incarnations are saying the same thing. O Sita, upon the arrival of Kali Yuga, this tree, Ram Vat, will disappear from the vision of ordinary people and remain here in a hidden fashion. So that same Ram Vat is here, right where we are, in Maudhumadweep.
Everybody, Vat and Drum are synonymous.
Vat and Juma are synonymous. Yes.
One more amazing thing about Navadvip is...
Would you like to take the mic?
No, it's just...
Yeah.
I'll repeat what you say if you don't take the mic.
It's central to most of the people in the world. Within a few hundred miles is half the people in the world.
Where?
More than half. Navadvip. If you look at China and India, it's right there. Then you got Bangladesh and Indonesia.
Within a few hundred miles, you
Well,
said?
2000, but within a very short amount of Earth.
So Vedanta...
It's central to the most populated area on Earth. It's right in the middle of
Mhm.
the most populated area.
So Vedanta Sutra Prabhu is offering that this land of Navadvip and a few hundred miles around it, that area, some hundreds of miles, has half the population of the earth in it. Between China and what? India and all that,
Pakistan,
right around it.
Indonesia,
Thank you. Huh?
Thailand.
Thailand.
all those. Indonesia.
So in this way, Lord Ramchandra resided here with Sita and Lakshman for some time. Thereafter, they left for Dandakaranya to fulfill. So Dandakaranya in one sense is here because the whole Ayodhya is here. But still, it's different because after he left here, that's when they went to Dandakaranya. That's when Sita was kidnapped. That's when Ram was going, Ha Sita, Ha Sita. That's when Sati or Parvati thought that he must be a human being because he doesn't know where Sita is, and even I know where Sita is. And that's where he revealed to her that Sita and Ram are in every atom, every leaf. Welcome, Gaur. Ha, Gaur.
Jai Gaur, say Krishna, say to Jagannath. We just sang
Jai
that.
Gaur,
Say Krishna,
Jai Gaur, say Krishna,
say
say
Jagannath.
Jagannath. That Gaur is also Krishna and also Jagannath. In Gaur Lila, by the will of the Lord, Lord Ram's friend Guhaka will take birth here in a Brahmin family. In Gaur Lila, Guhaka will be known as Sarananda Bhattacharya. He knew nothing in the three worlds but Sri Ram. The day on which my Lord took birth in Mayapur, Sarananda Bhattacharya, this is again Nityananda Prabhu speaking, Sarananda Bhattacharya was also present in the house of Jagannath Mishra. So he saw Mahaprabhu taking birth.
Just like Gohaka knew Ram, he knew Ram from that young too. I don't know if he saw his birth, but Gohak definitely knew Ram when he was a baby.
Oh, Dinabandhu is saying that just like Guhaka knew Ram since he was very, very young too. At the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance, all the demigods assembled at Jagannath Mishra's house to take darshan of him. The great devotee Brahmana Sarananda Bhattacharya recognized the demigods, and seeing them offering prayers, he understood that his Lord had now descended. Greatly pleased, he returned to his home and began to meditate upon his worshipable deity Ramchandra. In his meditation, he had darshan of Lord Gauranga as Lord Ram. He saw Lord Gauranga, very brilliant, seated upon a throne with Brahma and other demigods fanning him with a chamra, just like you see, Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande. He again saw Lord Ram, whose complexion resembles darkish newly sprouted grass. On the right side of Ram was Lakshman, and on his left side Sita, and in front Bhakta Hanuman. Having seen all this, the Brahmana understood the fundamental truth of the Lord, the tattva of the Lord. Absorbed in ecstatic bliss, he went to Mayapur and, not seen by anyone, had darshan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu to his heart's content. He again and again thought, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Ramchandra is present in Sri Gaurahari, right in front of my eyes. And here is a painting that I did, copying a Brijbasi print, but just changing his color to green, which was in Prabhupada's temple in Boston in 1968.
The Brijbasi.
I did it in Boston. So what happened was, it was interesting. Let's say, pretend I'm sitting in Prabhupada's Vyasa, and then right here on the wall, right that wall, was my painting of Ramchandra. So Prabhupada came in, they had a big kirtan, and I was late for the kirtan. I didn't come to the end of the kirtan because I was in the middle of a fight with my husband, all my fault. So then when I walked in the door, so I walk in the door and there's Prabhupada at the other end, facing the door. So all the devotees, he was doing the Jayadwani prayers, all the devotees were bowed down, and that's when I walked in. So when everybody got up, Prabhupada could have said anything because he knows everything, he's Trikala Gyan. But instead, he called out to me right near the door, and he said, oh, did you do this painting? I said, yes. He said, you are already in Vaikuntha. It just shows the encouragement of the pure devotee. So after some time, when Sankirtan started in Sridham Mayapur, Sadhananda also chanted the name of Gaur and danced in the Kirtan party. O Jiva, devotees with spotless, uncontaminated hearts take darshan of Bandiravan in this place of Modrumadweep. So Bandiravan is where Radha and Krishna had that marriage, that Gandharva marriage, performed by Brahma and Lalita and Vishaka and everybody.
Where they went from Kumar to Kaishore and
They were that age, and then when they entered into the forest, they became teenagers, and the marriage was performed, and they became young again and went about their ways. So no one can criticize their paramour love, Jiva Goswami says. So then, that day, being exceedingly blissful, then they went to the village of Narayani Devi's house. Narayani is the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who's the celebrated author of Chaitanya Bhagavat. What I'm confused about is that I thought that here, when Sita asked Ram, why is he smiling? Maybe it's a little further back. Oh yes, here it is. It's in Gurudev's going to tell us. Once one devotee was telling Gurudev, look Gurudev, right here in the Sanskrit, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says such and such. So then Gurudev said, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is speaking to me, not to you. And I'm explaining him to you. So my explanation is better than yours. Because of my bhajan, my practices, I am realizing what he's meaning, and then I'm expressing. So Nityananda Prabhu didn't tell us this, so Gurudev is telling. Once my godbrother, not my godbrother, your godbrother, I forget his name, from Brisbane, Vasanti, Raghunath Bhatta. Yes, he was the pujari at one of Gurudev's European festivals. So he was taking care of the didi. Gurudev was there, sitting on the Vyasasana, and then he put water on one of the flowers that he was going to offer. You know how he purified. So Gurudev said, "Don't put water on the flowers, because then they'll get moldy and they won't be a nice offering. You can wash tulsi and must wash tulsi, but don't wash the flowers." He said, Balaram will never tell you this. Because who are you? But I'm telling you, manifestation of Balaram. So here Gurudev is kindly telling us what happened. Okay, so maybe Nityananda said it and I just missed it. So anyway, when I just skipped the page here. So when Sita asked him, is he smiling? Why would you leave your mother and your wife? Take sannyas. What pleasure can you get from giving your wife and your mother misery like that? Shri Sri Radha Govinda ki jai. Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Sri Nityananda Ram ki jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. So, Lord Ram explained, I will charm everyone by performing a variety of enchanting pastimes. I will manifest the glory of the holy name, even in the hearts of sinners, and give them love of God, which even the demigods can really attain. In my youth, I will accept sannyas, after which I will reside in Jagannath Puri, and at that time my mother, my mother will be Sachi Devi, and she's none other than Kaushalya, who you know, Sita. And she will weep along with her daughter-in-law, Vishnupriya, in her arms, and you, Sita, will be that Vishnupriya. I will therefore remain in Puri and also weep for you night and day. What, Vasanti?
Just thinking about Ram in the
They're
forest.
just having a.
Vasanti is thinking of Ram in the forest and weeping.
She is.
Vasanti is also weeping.
It's inconceivable.
Inconceivable. So, when she asked, why will you perform such pastimes? He said, I will appear in the world as Gauranga, just to teach the living entities prema. And prema bhakti is tasted in two ways, meeting, sambhog, and separation, vipralambha. In sambhog, the pleasure one receives in meeting is prominent. In separation, one attains the happiness of constant internal meeting, in which everything external is forgotten. Only in separation do one-pointed rasic devotees attain that height of unlimited bliss. Without vipralambha, sambhog ras cannot be nourished. Therefore, in vipralambha ras, it's 1,000,000 times more relishable. So when you and I, Sita, feel separation from each other, that will be more relishable. That's why I will find an excuse to abandon you. The excuse is, oh look, you were at the house of Ravana for a year. Oh, the people are complaining. But really, he left. He had her leave, abandoned her, just for the purpose of them both experiencing the Vipralambha ras, which gives more exalted happiness. I'll make a golden Sita of you, and then you will make a golden Gauranga of me. And then again he says, this Navadvipam is more dear to me than Ayodhya. And then he explains to her that I do the same thing. I'm going to be doing it in the future as Ram, making us both feel that. I'm doing it when Kali Yuga comes as Gauranga and Vishnupriya, and as Radha and Krishna also. Because you're that very same Radha, expansion of Radha. And I'm that same Krishna, and we will also feel that separation. So, we want to cover all the places before.
This is our last place.
This is our last place, but it's not our last place within the place.
No, we're not.
Our last place on our parikrama is go to Drumadweep. But,
No, Mojan.
I'm sorry,
Mojan.
I make mistakes. Moda Drumadweep. It's Godrum and Modadrum. Modadrum. Now we're going. First let's go to Malini Devi's house. Malini Devi, who's Malini Devi? She lives right next door.
No, that's not cool.
Malini Devi's father's house and Vasudev Dutt's residence. The house of the father of Malini Devi, Srivas Pandit's wife. Now, let's check that out. What does that mean? The house of the father of Malini, Srivas Pandit's wife. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Malini is Srivas's wife, and that's her
Malini
father's
is
house.
Srivas Pandit's wife, and her father lives here. And it's right near the house of Vrindavan Das Thakur.
Who's her father, David?
I don't know.
No one ever knows.
Is she related to Vrindavan Das Thakur?
No, her house is near.
I know, I remember there's a deity.
Is that little deity.
She's big, she's got a big
Big deity, big face.
Ah.
The residents of Sri Saranga and Murari, both of whom are associates, are also close by here, as you know.
Did someone ask if there's a relation between Narayani and Malini?
Oh, Narayana.
Narayani and who?
I was thinking of Narayana.
Malini.
I was thinking of Narayana.
Oh, Narayani is the mother of Vrindavan Das.
Yeah, but
Malini is the wife, and I don't know if there's any philosophical relationship.
no, I was saying that the only guitar we have on the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur is that we don't know. It's the only guitar you have here.
What do you mean? We know something. When she was a little baby, that is Narayani, Krishna put his foot into her mouth, and that's how she got such a son. And she was sucking on Mahaprabhu's toe.
Yeah, we certainly know who his godfather is, but we just don't know who his
Oh,
biological
well, I
father
mean, this is an ISKCON lecture, so I don't know if I should say it, but.
What?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Another source? Never mind.
Sorry. Rewind. Should I say what I'm seeing online?
Yes, say what you're saying online.
Due to Vrindavan Das Thakur's father's untimely departure from this world, while he was still in his mother's womb, Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Pandit, brought Narayani Devi and Vrindavan Das Thakur to her father.
Okay, can you come here?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, come here and speak into the TV set.
Yeah, because we want to hear it.
Actually, if you could sit here and
Yeah,
turn the
but
TV
it's
to
on.
you.
No, let me just say it with you. It's
All
just
right,
2
here we
seconds.
are together.
Yeah, together we. So it says, where is it? Due to Vrindavan Das Thakur's father's untimely departure from this world, while he was still in his mother's womb, Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Pandit, brought Narayani Devi and Vrindavan Das Thakur to her father, Vasudev Dutt's home in Mamakachi, where he was
So
raised.
Vasudev Dutt is the father of the wife of Srivas Pandit.
Yes. Where he was,
Vasudev Dutt is Malini's father.
yes.
Got it.
Where he was raised with great love and affection and was cared for as a valuable gem, as stated by Sri Bhaktisiddhanta in his commentary on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, okay.
So let's
So
do that
we know
again.
who raised him, and we know
Who raised who?
That's why they're
Vrindavan Das Thakur.
Narayani raised Vrindavan Das Thakur. She's his mother.
Right.
She had Lord Chaitanya's toe in her mouth when she was a baby. Malini, the wife of Srivas Pandit, brought Narayani, who's
To her own father's house. To her own father's house. Vasudev Dutt.
brought Narayani to her father's house. And Vasudev Dutt, who died before the child was?
Narayani's husband.
Narayani's.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Just first names. To get through the story, just use first names. If you say
Narayani's-
Shiva and Thakur, you keep losing the story.
Narayani's husband died before who was in the womb?
No, before Vrindavan Das Thakur was born, obviously.
Right.
Not
Oh,
after.
she had Vrindavan Das in the
He was
womb.
in the womb when his father died.
He was in her womb
Okay, that makes
And his
sense.
mother.
when
His
her
father died.
her
Husband.
husband Vasudev Dutt
No, but Vrindavan Das.
Vrindavan Das's mother is Narayani.
Right.
Narayani, who was pregnant with him.
Narayani was pregnant with Vrindavan. Can you come here, Laura?
No, it's not. But it just keeps going.
As the Santi read, Vrindavan Das's mother is Narayani, and she was pregnant with Vrindavan Das when his father, who's not named, was left this world in untimely time. And so Mother Malini, the wife of Srivas, took compassion upon Narayani and took her and the unborn child Vrindavan Das to Mama Gachi to the house of her father, Vasudev Dutt, where he was raised in a very loving way.
And Haribo.
The fruit of meditation.
The fruit of Gaur's worship.
My nose is dry.
That's it.
The fruit of your nose.
And it was Vasudev Dutt who begged, out of his compassion, he begged Lord Gauranga, let me accept on my head. And whose father is he? Whose father is Vasudev Dutt?
Malini.
Malini. So he begged Mahaprabhu, let me accept on my head the sins of all living entities in the world, and I will suffer their sins birth after birth. And you can remove their material bondage and liberate them, and I'll just suffer. So Mahaprabhu said, well, even if I do that, and all the living entities in the universe get liberated, in a minute they'll all be filled up with sinful jivas again. So we can see the compassion of the pure devotees. Okay, so now we're going to go to Mahatpur, right nearby. And here is Ramanujacharya. Does he look familiar to you, Vasanti? He's the drawing, isn't he?
I saw Mahaprabhu said something more like, I was already going to save them all, but your selfless compassion is really touching.
Huh? What?
She's reading.
He's gonna
I was-
he's gonna
what?
show it around.
Well, but I have to read.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. So now we're in Vaikuntapur, this village situated on the northwestern border of Modadrimmadweep. Although what we could do is we can give this Ramanuja's mercy to Jagadish Pandit, and we will hear from Nityananda. Sri Vaikuntha, the abode of the Supreme Lord Narayan, situated beyond the Viraja River in the spiritual realm, which has three potencies, Lila, Bhu, and Shri, serve Narayan. Maya can never enter that place. Brahma is merely the Brahma Jyoti, is just the splendor of that place. And now we are in Vaikuntapur, right next to where we just were. Thank you. So Vaikuntha is here in Navadvip. All the infinite number of Vaikuntha planets is all here in Navadvip, where we are, in Modadrimmadweep. Sri Narad, with his transcendental vision, first saw the eternal, untainted Bhagavan Sri Narayan. Thereafter, after having received his darshan and the darshan of Sri Gauranga, Narada resided here right here at the spot, for a long time. An old and confidential history is related to this place. Once, Lakshmanacharya, also known as Ramanujacharya, who you just had darshan of, he came to Jagannath Puri. By reciting many prayers, he pleased Lord Jagannath, and out of mercy, Jagannath extended his darshan to him. In other words, not like we see it with the wood, but he really saw him. We just see wood. Jagannath said, at least I see what I can't say for everybody. O Ramanuja, go and take darshan of Navadvip. I will appear very soon in Jagannath Mishra's house in the town of Nadia. Jai Gora, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Sri Navadvip is very dear to me. The spiritual sky, with all the Vaikunthas, is situated in just one of the sections of Navadvip. Can you imagine this place? You are my eternal servant and foremost among my devotees. You must certainly take darshan of Navadvip. All of your disciples are immersed in dasya ras, the mellow of servitude. But you should therefore leave them and go to Navadvip, because they'll never understand. O Ramanuja, O resolute one, birth in this earth is useless for a person who, in spite of obtaining a human birth, does not attain darshan of Navadvip Dham. Sri Rangam, Sri Venkat, Tirupati, and Yadavachala, they're all in just one small portion of Navadvip. Therefore, go to Navadvip and take darshan of the beautiful form of Gauranga. You have come to the material world only to preach Bhakti Yoga. May your life be successful by the mercy of Gaur. After being in Navadvip, go to Kurmastan, and then you can meet your disciples again. Hearing this, he made a request to Lord Jagannath. O Lord, by your merciful words, I have now for the first time heard about Gaur Hari, but I know nothing about the tattva of him. So Jagannath, who is the friend of the world, mercifully spoke. Everyone knows that Krishna is the Lord of Gokul, and that Lord Narayan is his expansion, and that Krishna lives in Vrindavan. That very Krishna is completely and eternally Sri Gaura Hari, and that very Vrindavan is the town of Navadvip. As the eternal form of Gaur Sundar, I reside in Navadvip Dham, which is superior to all other places. Although it looks like this Dham is on the earth, actually, there's not a trace of Maya here. If anybody thinks that this Dham that we're all sitting here in is inferior to Svetadweep up there in Goloka, his bhakti will diminish day by day. Only by my desire has my inconceivable potency brought that transcendental realm to this material world. That truth which is beyond reason and logic cannot be obtained just by studying scriptures. Only by my mercy can my devotees understand it. Yashadeve parabhakti, yatadeve tatagaro. One who has the same faith implicit in Guru that he has, an implicit faith in Krishna, all the scriptures will be revealed. When Ramanuja heard Jagannath's words, he became restless out of praying for Gauri. And he went to meet Gauranga. If you allow me, I will go to Navadvip and then preach about Gaura Lila throughout the world, throughout the three worlds. I will reveal the hidden scriptures. In other words, I will bring out the scriptural evidences regarding Mahaprabhu to everyone in the three worlds, because now all my doubts are cleared. So, what did Jagannath say? Nope. Keep it hidden until Mahaprabhu comes. Secretly keep the tattva of Gaur Chandra in your own heart. After the pastimes of Mahaprabhu have become manifest, then everyone will automatically know about them. How automatically? Through the mercy of his Guru Parampara, down to our own individual Gurudev. So Ramanuja came here, and after just a moment, he saw the captivingly beautiful form of Sri Gaura Hari. Captivatingly. Thank you. First he saw Narayan, and then he saw Gaur Chandra in the place of Narayan. And then Mahaprabhu mercifully placed his own feet on Ramanuja's head. Then, after receiving divine knowledge by having his head touched by Mahaprabhu's feet, he began to pray as follows. O Lord, will I be able to behold your manifest pastimes in the town of Nadia? Then he began crying. I will never leave Navadvip and go anywhere else. So then Gaur answered him with merciful words. And I hope this Gaur here in this temple will tell me with merciful words. I will come upstairs in just about an hour. So then Mahaprabhu told him, when my pastimes become manifest in Nadia, you will take birth here. Then he disappeared, and Ramanuja, satisfied, resumed his journey. Then he met with his devotees in Kurmastan and preached Dasya Ras. So who is he in Gauranga Lila? Ananta, Sri Ananta. He saw the marriage of Lakshmi Priya and Gaur in the house of Ballavacharya, who is the father of Lakshmi Priya. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, O devotees, behold this place right here, where Ananta's house once stood. Many devotees of Lord Narayan resided here. It is well known that the kings at that time established service to Bhagavan Sri Narayan at this holy place. Then, now we're walking with Nityananda Prabhu, and how much time do we have, Gaur?
2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes. Let's run through Mahatpur, which is the Kamyavan of Braj. And Nityananda, here we are, bowing down at the place, taking the dust of the place. And Nityananda Prabhu says, this is Kamyavan. All of you behold this abode with great devotion. In ancient times there was a banyan tree here. By the will of Mahaprabhu, these trees have now disappeared. Everything is happening by the will of the Lord in Navadvip. Although everybody calls this place Mahatpur, the old names, now it's called Matapur. In the old days it was called Mahatpur. When during their exile the 5 Pandavas and Draupadi lived incognito, they came here to this very place. When they were residing in Ekachakra here, Maharaj Yudhisthira became overwhelmed, having a dream where he understood the glories of Nadia. The next day they all came to this place, which is situated in the area of Sri Navadvip. Simply by desiring the darshan of Navadvip, they felt elated. Seeing the beauty of Navadvip, the sons of Pandu began to glorify the fortune of the residents in Gaudadesh. And Maharaj Yudhisthira, now we are at Maharaj Yudhisthira's till, which I think means a little hill. Hill, and Draupadi Kund. Maharaj Yudhisthira understood the glories of this place and therefore stayed here for a long time. And one day in a dream he had the astonishing darshan of Gauranga. And Mahaprabhu told, just imagine Mahaprabhu speaking to the Pandavas. You are eternally my servants. At the time of my appearance in the form of Gaurahari, you will also take birth again. And who are they going to be? Who are they?
The 5 sons of
They are
Bhavananda.
they are Bhavananda Rai and his sons. 5 sons of Bhavananda Rai. And then the dream woke. He felt very sad that they had to leave. And then Madhvacharya arrived in Mahatpur. So we want to hear about how Mahaprabhu instructed Madhvacharya to preach his mission. And we also want to hear about how Mahaprabhu took 2 principles from each of the 4 Sampradaya Acharyas' teachings and then made his one that included the 2 qualities of each plus his own to make Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So we will hear about all that at the very beginning tomorrow, just like we did last year, before we discuss the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Tomorrow is Gaur Purnima. It actually came. And here we are in Navadvip, Mayapur we will be, hearing about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his birth. Maybe we'll even get to see a video, maybe we'll even get to hear personally from Srila Gurudev and see. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Navadvip Dham Parikrama Ki Jai. Shri Godrum Dvip Ki Maudadruma Dvip Ki Jai. Shri Ramchandra Sita Ki Jai. Shri Mahatpur Ki Jai. Shri Vaikuntapur Ki Jai. Shri Saranga Murari Ki Jai. Shri Saranga Deva Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Srivas Malini Devi Ki Jai. Shri Narayani Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vasudev Dutt Ki Jai. Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. Shri Gornitai Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Yasomati Nandana Brajavarana Yasomati